What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Weekly GCap, the only source you'll ever need to catch up on all the gaming news from the last week. As always, we got quite a couple stories to go through, so let's go ahead and get right into this. First things first, as always, let's go ahead and kick things off with all of the big releases from the last week. So, May 9th, we have Animal Well, Crow Country, Little Kitty Big City, Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs, and Rainbow Cotton. Then moving up to May 8th, we have V Rising, which this was technically available before, but this was just leaving early access. And then on May 7th, we had Heading Out. So, now I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you guys gotten to pick up or play any of these games? Next up, Citrus Electrique is free on Epic Games. Now, it is worth noting that there is another game or offer that is currently free, so this is the Firestone free offer. It is actually worth $100, but this is only for in-game items. The base game itself is free, and you do have to own the base game in order to redeem this, but again, the base game is free, and this is just an offer worth $100, so I mean, even if you don't have plans to play the game, you might as well redeem it, I guess. I mean, hey, it's free and it's $100 off. Next up, Hades 2 Shadow dropped into early access. So yeah, this happened on May 6th, and right now it is available for $29.99. Reviews across the board have been glowing. I personally got to dive in and play it myself, and yeah, you know, coming off the heels of Hades 1, this is all you could want, right? Just more Hades. And I do mean it when I say more Hades, because the amount of content in this game is absolutely ridiculous, and you already know they're going to be adding on to this over time. I mean, again, this is only in early access. They're going to be adding content, making changes, dropping DLC and all that. And unfortunately, again, since this is in early access, this means that it is not available on console. So it's not on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, anything like that. Obviously, it will be eventually once it has that full 1.0 release, but as of now, it is only available on PC. But for $29.99, I could definitely say at this stage of the game, it is already worth that money, and it's only going to be more and more worth that money as time goes on. So whether you dive in now, whether you hold off, Hades 2, I can already tell you it's going to be a high recommend, and it literally just went into early access. Next up, the XDefiant release date was announced. This is coming from Ubisoft. Quote, preseason for the free-to-play arcade shooter XDefiant is launching on May 21st for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC through Ubisoft Connect. The action kicks off by offering 5 different game modes across 14 maps, 24 weapons with 44 attachments, and 5 playable factions inspired by Ubisoft franchises, each of which brings unique gameplay buffs and abilities to the fighting arena, end quote. So this has been anticipated for quite a while in the shooter community. This is essentially trying to replicate, you know, okay, I don't want to be reductive when I say this, but it's no secret that this is really trying to capture the essence of, like, old school Call of Duty, you know what I mean, from, like, the early 2010s / late 2000s with, like, that Modern Warfare 2 / 3 / like, Black Ops 1 era. So far, the game has been really good. There's just been some, the issues that the game has had has been more technical, like, more like server-side stuff, whether it be, like, netcode, you know, things along that. Hopefully that stuff will be ironed out for the full release. Again, this isn't launching straight into Season 1, this is a preseason, so like this is technically the time that the game is coming out, but it's not going to be like the Season 1 stuff. This is sort of like the preseason of all live service games where it comes out, they do some testing, make sure the game is unbroken, and then shortly after we'll be rolling into Season 1. So I would recommend at least diving in and seeing what you think of the game before Season 1 kicks up, so then you can decide, hey, do I want to stick with this long term as a live service game, or do I just kind of want to like dive in, give it a shot, and then dive out? So again, it's also free to play, so you got nothing to lose. Next up, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition was announced. This coming from Nintendo Life. Quote, Nintendo has confirmed Nintendo World Championships NES Edition for the Switch following a rating from the ESRB. Launching on the 18th of July 2024, the game will include over 150 challenges across 13 NES titles, drawing inspiration from the original championship tournament back in 1990. You'll be tasked with completing challenges in the fastest time possible, such as rushing to grab the first Super Mushroom in Super Mario Bros., or racing up platforms to reach a door in Metroid. You can use your NSO NES controllers if you've got them, and local multiplayer is supported, while you can also compete in weekly global online leaderboards, end quote. So the price points currently are $29.99 digitally and $59.99 physically, and the physical edition is being called the Deluxe Set, which comes with a physical copy of the game itself, plus the following physical items: a gold-colored replica NES cartridge, 13 art cards, and 5 pins. So again, it's double the price if you're going physically, but you do get a lot of really cool stuff there. Me personally, I will be getting a physical copy of this just because I like actually owning my games. This is really cool, and honestly, it was really unexpected. It did kind of leak out beforehand, and you guys know me personally, I don't really pay attention to leaks and rumors and stuff because it's always that take it with a grain of salt type thing, and you know, a lot of people get their expectations way too high once they start looking at like leaks and rumors, and I just feel like all that stuff is garbage. Why waste my time worrying about rumors and speculation and leaks when I could just wait for a company to officially announce something, you know what I mean? But anyway, that being said, this is pretty cool, and I am super excited for this. It's coming out in about 2 months now, so I'll be diving in. I don't think I'm going to be topping the leaderboards by any means, but hey, I'll give it a shot. Next up, a THQ Nordic showcase was announced. That's coming from THQ Nordic on X. Quote, the same procedure as last year. Our annual THQ Nordic digital showcase returns on August 2nd, 2024. Join us for new announcements, exciting updates on Gothic 1 Remake, Titan Quest 2, and much more. End quote. So this is again happening during the what used to be E3 time, where, you know, normally would just be like a week of announcements at E3, right? You have like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all those people all in one spot. You know, you get a bunch of announcements, like an awesome thing. But no, now we need to keep track of like 5 million different events and showcases happening. But it is what it is. As always, once this event does happen in about 3 months from now, you know, we'll be doing a full recap here on the show. So if you don't got time to watch the event, it's all cool. We always wrap. I mean, literally, like last week, I believe it was, Xbox had that like 3-hour indie showcase. Yeah, we literally recapped the entire thing in 3 minutes. So, you know, if you don't have time to watch showcases, just come here. We'll recap in like multi-hour showcases in a few minutes. Next up, a new Xbox controller was announced. That's coming from news.xbox.com. Quote, introducing the Xbox wireless controller Fire Vapor Special Edition. The latest and boldest addition to our Vapor series alongside Stormcloud Vapor, Dream Vapor, and Nocturnal Vapor. Inspired by flames, every red and orange color swirl is an expression of blazing fire with a mesmerizing design that's unique to each controller. Feel the power of fire in your hands and hold on to the heat with rubberized red diamond pattern grips on the back case. With vibrant flashes of color, the Fire Vapor controller is guaranteed to add some heat to your gaming setup. Get yours today exclusively at the Microsoft Store. Right now it's retailing for $69.99, and again, it's only available on the Microsoft Store, but if you connect this to your Xbox Series X or S or whatever, it gives you like one of those cool dynamic backgrounds, you know, with like the fire and orange swirls and stuff. So hey, even if you're not interested in the controller yourself, but maybe you're like collecting backgrounds or something, you know, I've heard of stuff like that, I'm serious, you could buy the controller, link it to your Xbox, and then either pass it on to a buddy or like sell it on eBay or Mercari or something like that, just to kind of get your money back but still get the background. Because like I said, you may think I'm joking, but I've heard of stuff like that before. Next up, Sony backtracked on their terrible Helldivers 2 login requirements that they were going to be enforcing. So for those that don't know, PlayStation was essentially going to be requiring Helldivers 2 players to use a PSN ID, even if they've already been playing the game up to this point. Specifically on PC, I should clarify. Because obviously, if you're on PS5, yeah, you're using a PSN. But on PC specifically, up to this point, you have not needed a PSN ID to play the game. But they were going to be enforcing players to have to, if they don't have a PSN, they'd either have to create one, or if they already have one, they'd have to log in and keep playing their game. And I can understand why people were upset. You know, I already, you know, I've had my fair share of complaining when it comes to like different accounts and launchers and stuff like that on PC. So this would only be adding to the problem if they actually went ahead and do this. Like, and again, it's one of those things where people already paid that money and they've already been playing the game for so long. So like, why switch up and have that requirement there in the first place? And the worst part of it is, PSN and like all of that just isn't available in some regions. So there was essentially going to be like over 100, almost 200 regions that were going to be losing access to the game even if they had purchased it. And it got to a point where Steam was actually refunding people because, again, these people that just don't have access to PSN in their region were essentially just gonna, you know, have their game stolen from them that they paid for and have been playing up to this point. And as you can imagine, there was a lot of backlash online. The game got review bombed into oblivion over on Steam. There's just social media was absolutely exploding over this, but PlayStation finally responded. So this is coming from PlayStation on X. Quote, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. End quote. Now, it is worth noting that the Ghost of Tsushima PC port is coming out soon, and that will require a PSN login for the online portion. But I believe the single-player part won't. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think that it should. That being said, the Ghost of Tsushima Legends, again, just the multiplayer part, will require that PSN login. And the only reason that that's not getting as much backlash and that one isn't as big as a deal is because that game isn't out yet. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it comes out, sure, it sucks, but hey, nobody was able to spend their money on it before they kind of had the game stolen from them. Like, what would have happened with Helldivers 2? It's just one of those situations where, hey, the game isn't even available to them, you know, to begin with. Again, the fact that they even have to log in does kind of suck, but 'tis what it is. As for the Helldivers 2 situation, though, yeah, that was absolutely terrible. And again, just one of those many situations of like, you know, when it comes to the all-digital future and, like, digital media and online-only games, you really don't own anything. But hey, kudos to Sony for at least having the brains to backtrack on this. I mean, I don't know if I should really be giving them kudos for making such a terrible decision in the first place, but yeah. Next up, Take-Two has shut down 2 studios. This is just insane, because you gotta remember, Take-Two, they're the same ones that are back in games like GTA 5, GTA 6. But anyway, that's coming from GamesIndustry.biz. Quote, more details have emerged about the ongoing layouts at Take-Two Interactive, with reports suggesting the publisher has shut down 2 indie-sized studios. Bloomberg reported it has seen internal documentation that reveals UK developer Roll7, known for the Ollie Ollie series and Rollerdrome, both amazing. Well, the Ollie Ollie games, though, that's an actual series, and that series is amazing. And then as for Rollerdrome, I was hoping we could see a sequel at some point, because that game was genuinely a masterpiece. I love that game, and it's an absolute blast, but unfortunately, I guess that won't be the case. But anyway, going on. Is planned for closure with the publisher working on severance agreements for affected staff. The documentation also details plans to close Intercept Games, the Seattle-based studio behind Kerbal Space Program 2. Both studios are part of private division, Take-Two's label for publishing indie games. The label formed Intercept Games in 2020 after taking over development of Kerbal Space Program 2 and acquired Roll7 in 2021. Which means they haven't even owned these companies for more than 3 or 4 years. So, just every time that I kind of like roll my eyes on this show about, you know, like more companies getting acquired and such in the gaming industry, it's because stuff like this, right? Like, it seems good in the moment for maybe the consumers and the, you know, the developers and stuff like that, because they get more backing, they get more budget and money. But more times than not, as of lately, it seems like these companies just end up getting shut down like 3 or 4 years down the line, so they would have been better off on their own to begin with. But anyway, going on. Bloomberg reported other private division staff have been affected by the layoffs, with a source telling GamesIndustry.biz that the vast majority of the label's teams in Seattle, New York, Las Vegas, and Munich have been let go. When asked for confirmation, Take-Two issues the statement as yesterday, included below in full. Quote, on April 16th, Take-Two announced a cost reduction program to identify efficiencies across its business and to enhance the company's margin profile while still investing for growth. As part of these efforts, the company is rationalizing its pipeline and eliminating several projects in development and streamlining its organizational structure, which will eliminate headcount and reduce future hiring needs. The company is not providing additional details on this program. In other words, there's probably more layoffs out the pipeline. Again, this is just really sad because not only were those both amazing studios, but let's be honest, like, I mean, no studio ever deserves to be shut down. I mean, unless they've done something truly heinous, you know, like scamming players or whatever, like we saw with the day before a couple months back, that's a different story. But in this situation, they didn't do anything to deserve this. Again, it's just a sad situation all around, and I would elaborate, but unfortunately, we do have another one of these stories to talk about later. So we'll move on to the next story for now, but this will be coming up again here shortly. Next up, the new Battlefield game is going to be a live service. This is coming from Video Games Chronicle. Quote, Motive is working alongside fellow EA studios DICE, Criterion, and Ripple Effect to create a, quote, Battlefield universe across connected multiplayer experiences and single player, the publisher said. And during the company's quarterly earnings call on Tuesday, EA boss Wilson said he recently had the chance to experience some of the fruits of their labor. Quote, this is the largest Battlefield team in franchise history. A few weeks ago, I was visiting with the teams, and I couldn't be more excited about what they showed and what we were able to play. He later added, I've just spent a whole bunch of time with the collective Battlefield team playing what they're building, and it is going to be another tremendous live service. Do I need to explain why this sucks? Look at a masterpiece like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 1, and compare it to the only live service Battlefield game, Battlefield 2042. Do I need to say anything else? No? Didn't think so. Moving on. Next up, Microsoft has shut down multiple studios. This coming from IGN, quote, Microsoft has closed a number of Bethesda studios, including Redfall maker Arcane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush and the Evil Within developer Tango Gameworks, and more in devastating cuts at Bethesda, IGN can confirm. Alpha Dog Games maker of mobile game Mighty Doom will also close. Roundhouse Studios will be absorbed by the Elder Scrolls Online developers ZeniMax Online Studios. Microsoft, currently valued at over $3 trillion, did not say how many staff will lose their jobs, but significant layoffs are inevitable. IGN has asked Bethesda for comment. Microsoft declined to expand further when contacted by IGN. On Redfall, the game will now not receive promised updates, including an offline mode and new character DLC, as Microsoft has ended all development on the game. Microsoft said Redfall will remain online to play, and it will provide a make-good offer for those who bought the Hero DLC. End quote. So, there is a lot wrong here. So, first things first, before we get to the studios that were closed down, Redfall not getting the updates that were promised to players, that's a scam. Straight up, there was players that paid for certain content with a promise, and they just literally got scammed. No matter how you feel about Redfall, that's a scam right there, so that sucks. Again, they're going to be trying to make good with the players there, but the very least you can do is like push out the offline, the offline update, maybe do something with the DLC there if there was anything done, but I don't know, that just kind of feels like a scam in my mind. I've always defended Microsoft on the show, always had a lot of respect for them. I don't know, my opinion's starting to shift. I'm just really starting to realize how dark and dirty a lot of these companies truly are. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand how this stuff works when it comes to the numbers behind the scenes, okay? I mean, I'm here reporting on the news all the time. I'm always talking about all these layoffs and studios closing down. Of course, I understand how this stuff works, but it's like, You know, it really goes to show, like, even the studios that you think aren't as bad as others, no, they're all just as garbage. Again, Arcane being shut down, you might look at that and be like, oh, Redfall, who cares? Well, you know what else they made? They made Prey. They made Dishonored. Genuine masterpieces. Let's look at Tango Gameworks. The Evil Within. The Evil Within 1, it was like a nice homage to Resident Evil 4, I would say. Absolutely fantastic game. I would go as far as to call it a masterpiece. The Evil Within 2, expanded on that, had some open world elements. It wasn't fully open world, but, you know, had some elements of it. Amazing game as well. Genuinely a masterpiece. Love that game. Oh, you know what else they put out recently? Hi-Fi Rush. Everybody loves Hi-Fi Rush. And again, Alpha Dog Games, it seems like they were only making mobile games, but again, Mighty Doom, that one's gotten a lot, like, great reception. I actually have it on my phone. I love that game. I play it quite often. This is just devastating across the board. Like, Microsoft, what are you doing, dude? It literally said in this article, you guys are valued at $3 trillion and you can't handle to keep, like, 3 small studios open. Like, why would you acquire these guys if you're just gonna end up even, like, having to shut them down? Like, what's the point? Why are you guys going around and acquiring everybody if you're just gonna shut them down? Are you gonna be like the next EA? Like, seriously, screw you guys, dude. I'm sorry for getting so hostile, but not only are you punishing the developers that literally did nothing wrong and have only been racking in more money and Game Pass subscriptions for you, like with stuff with like the Evil Within and most recently Hi-Fi Rush, which I'm sure in itself not only pushed Game Pass subscriptions, but I'm sure tons of people just played that game through Game Pass or went on to actually buy the game. These developers are pouring their hearts and souls to fill your pockets, and in return, you shut down their studios, take their jobs from them in an effort to cut costs to fill your pockets even further. What is wrong with you guys? Honestly, screw AAA gaming, dude. I'm about to just say screw AAA and just stick to playing indie games. Like, seriously, like, the AAA space is so just disgusting right now. Like, it actually makes me feel filthy and dirty just thinking about how absolutely disgusting the practices in this industry are. The absolute, like, gluttony and greed that we are seeing from these higher ups in these numbers, guys, are just, like, ugh. Like, I just don't understand how sick and twisted these people are. Like, why? I gotta cool down. I gotta cool down. I'm getting into rant territory here. It's making me really upset. I'm really upset right now. I can't even imagine what it's like being one of these developers. We talk about layoffs and studios getting shut down all the time, but it's just like, it's getting to that point of where it's actually draining just to hear about it, because it's like, dude, thousands upon thousands, if not tens of thousands of employees have been laid off this year in the gaming industry alone, and it's like, when is this going to stop? This isn't sustainable. This is just absolutely dreadful. I don't understand. I really don't know what else to say. As for the developers and employees and anybody that was affected by these layoffs or studios getting shut down, I truly do hope the best for you. I'm sending all love and prayers your way, and if there's anything that anyone can do online, whether it be like starting GoFundMes, or if there's like, I don't know, like references or just literally anything, if any of these developers need help, like, please reach out. We all need to like work as a collective just to make sure that these developers are okay. You know, it seems like a lot of companies have been, you know, doing at least somewhat decent when it comes to like severances and things along those lines when it comes to letting people go, but at the same time, if there's any developers that are like truly struggling or in any sort of situation, we all as a community need to like just figure something out to hopefully help these people get stable work again soon, but also just, I don't know, there's something that needs to be done about this current situation in the AAA gaming scene, because it's not even a thing of where it's happening on a weekly basis, it's literally happening on a daily basis at this point, and it's sad. It's unsustainable and it's sad. I don't know what else to say. And finally, Nintendo has finally confirmed the Nintendo Switch 2, in quotes. They're calling it the successor. A lot of people are calling it the Switch 2. Some people saying it's the Super Switch. Who knows? But for the sake of, you know, just keeping things simple, this is essentially like the Switch 2 or Switch successor that they have confirmed. So, this is coming from Nintendo on X, quote, and it is worth noting that they posted this up like way early in the morning, just casually dropping this. There was no lead up to this. They just announced this. So anyway, this is coming from Nintendo on X, quote, "This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024. But please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation." So, you heard it here first. There's going to be a Direct happening in June where they'll be talking about the games coming out for Nintendo Switch, the current one, you know, just throughout the rest of this year. But there will not be an announcement or any sort, like, not even any speak of the next Switch or Switch successor inside of that Direct. So don't go into that with your hopes up. But that being said, in June, we'll be hearing about more games, which is awesome, and I mean, Lord only knows when we'll actually be hearing about the Switch successor at this point. I assume it'll be sometime this holiday season, this fall, this winter, or something like that. Who knows? Maybe they can't even do something crazy we won't hear about until next year. I highly doubt that. But anything's possible at this point as Nintendo, you know what I mean? That being said, I'm excited for the Direct, and obviously, as soon as we know more about the Switch 2, we'll be talking about here, and I'll let you guys know everything that you need to know. But anyway, that is all the stories that I got for you guys this week, so now I'd definitely love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on everything that we talked about? Whether it's the absolutely sad situation at all of these AAA gaming studios right now with all the shutdowns and layoffs and stuff like that. Do you think there's any true solution for this? Like, I'm just genuinely asking out of curiosity, like, what do you guys think needs to change? Do budgets for games need to change? Do there need to be, like, I don't even know where to begin with this. So, I mean, if you guys have any ideas, I definitely love to hear it. Again, it just makes me sad how things are going right now, and I just hope that change can come soon for this industry. But anyway, this is Weekly GCap. New episodes go live every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so if you can catch them as soon as they go live, well then, now you know when to be here. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.